Catch You Outdoors. I'm your host, Captain Rob Modies. This podcast is about living and playing in the great outdoors, especially down in the most southern region of the continental U.S., the Florida Keys. Catch You Outdoors is hosted by Spotify, also brought to you by your favorite podcast network. So kick back and get a taste of my Florida. And Merry Christmas. Yes, indeed. It is Christmas. I'm recording this on Christmas Day, Monday, December the 25th. I can't believe it's here already. It's like, holy moly, that went by in a hurry. So, but here we are, and so be it. And I'm glad. Oh my gosh, I can't believe that the new year, 2024, is right around the corner. This week's episode of Catch Outdoors is number 118, titled All Things Must Pass. We'll get to that in just a few minutes. You might see where this is going. Welcome to this week's podcast, which will cover some highlights from 2023 and look forward to the new year of 2024. First, a weather report and an outlook for the upcoming week here in the Keys, along with some tide and moon information, always handy for you fishing folks. So the upcoming weather looks like this. Cloudy. Mostly cloudy a lot. No, it's really been crazy. Cloudy until Friday. This is Monday. Today is heavily overcast. It's warm. Today's high will be 77. In some areas, they're calling for 80 up in the Miami area. They're going to get a tad more sun than we are. We just got stuff moving in right off the Atlantic, and it's still breezy. It's still 15 to 20. Small craft advisories are out for the coastal waters of the Keys, and it's been that way for quite some time, longer than we care to even think about, but that's the way it is. It's been an unreal December with mostly wind and rain. You go back and just look at all the days we've had with wind and rain. It's been pretty remarkable, to say the least. However, next Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, midday Friday, it should clear off and be sunny and very cool by our standards. Yep, another cold front. At least it's pushing the clouds away, so I'm going to look at it from a positive standpoint. Lows will be in the 50s with highs close to 70. There is mention of 40s for lows in the Miami area on the weekend. But we're usually protected by water temperatures that surround us. So that's one thing that even though the front comes down and they're advertising, it's going to be 49 or something like it, it generally does not do that here. We have enough water around us, and the temperatures in the water range from about 68 up. So, and speaking of that, I did see a reading of 68. We took a little boat, what do you want to call it, a sightseeing trip, down in the Keys, I guess it was last Tuesday or Wednesday. I forget what the date was. And we had a blast. But the captain told me, he says, we're reading 68. We were in Florida Bay. And I'm like, wow, that's a whole lot different than last time I fished in the Bay. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. Man, oh man, the Keys are filling up fast. Snowbirds, turistas. I can tell this because of US 1. It's busier than normal, and so is Publix. Yep, those are our two major tourist barometers down this way. How long it takes to get through Publix and how long it takes to get up and down US 1. Again, as I've said before, we have one highway. Makes it very entertaining. You won't know what you'll see. Oh, and add to that the pain in the butt of getting a reservation to any one of our favorite little eateries. At this point now, it's just show up early, 5:30. 6 at the latest, and prepare to be in even a little bit of a line then to get into your favorite restaurants. So you just pick the restaurants that don't take reservations. That's pretty much how you go. A lot of people will just leave. When they find out that they can't get in, they just leave. So it just bumps you up further. But it's the season. This is what happens. And it's going to be that way until middle of April. So prepare to wait in line for a while. This is also the time of year where cell phones come in handy for catching up with friends. If you're visiting, you can also send the current weather and temperatures to those up north. It's okay to rub it in this time of year. Oh, about the boat tour. Let me talk about the boat tour. I don't want to skip too far ahead before I can do that. Janelle and I met a couple with our two boys months back. It was one of those chance meetings of their dad, Justin. he was at the Hideout having breakfast, one of our little favorite breakfast places, usually on a Sunday. We like to go over there early on a Sunday, and there'll be like maybe 5 people in the place, and they make excellent omelets. And the view is great. You're looking right out on Largo Sound, Key Largo Sound, and it's beautiful. Nice place to have. He was bumbling around, and he asked a question about what to do with the kids. Again, this gets back to the rain. It was another one of our wonderfully messy days, and he's got 2 boys. I think they're 11 and 13. Don't hold me to that, but that sounds about right. And so we told him that, Janelle's like, she's the authority on places to take your kids when it's not nice outside. And so she's rattled off a bunch of places. We kind of built a friendship, and it blossomed via texting. Eventually they came by the house. He came by with his wife, Melissa, and the 2 boys, and just the nicest people. They have a very unique outlook on life. They are RVing and have been for the last 6 years, I think he said. They basically have a big RV, a big 5th wheel, truck, accessories, that kind of thing, and they have been traveling around and camp out for months to a year at a time in a place. They just pick a new spot and off they go. So that's why they were in the Keys. And he started asking about work, and he said he's been selling RVs for years. And I said, "Can you sell a boat?" He goes, "I don't know." I said, "Well, a boat's an RV. It's just on the water." Different, of course. I mean, controls are different, things like that. But he said, yeah. So he wound up getting a job down in Tavernier. And let's see. Long story short, it's not really that short. Janelle and I were, I did the Ladies Let's Go Fishing event a while back. I mentioned that in the podcast, and I was a speaker there. And they had a bunch of tables set up for Ladies Let's Go Fishing auction. And we picked up a few things. And one of the things we got very reasonably was a trip for 5 people on an eco tour out of the Lorelei on a little boat called Islamorada Turtle Tours. That's hard to say. Turtle Tours. Got it. Captain Gary, first mate Justin, they were great hosts. We turned it in for the 5. We paid for the extra person, the 6th. And we did a little cruise on a cold, windy day. But the captain was pretty good. I mean, they were keeping us out of the wind as best they could. There were times when it wasn't good. But what I think Janelle and I liked about it best, not only meeting this couple and their boys, but was just being able to go see the old stomping grounds. Because coming out of the Lorelei means the boat was going to go down into the little basin, out to Bird Item, up by Lignum Vitae. I always say it wrong. Key. And so we got to travel through some places that we haven't traveled through in ages. We went around to where they're building the new Papa Joe's. The only thing we couldn't do was cross the bay. It was just too windy and too rough. But staying close to the islands was pretty good. We saw all kinds of birds, especially frigates, which are my favorite. If you go to Bird Island, those of you that are familiar with the Islamorada area, there's an island out there that everyone refers to as Bird Island. Janelle and I called it the Donut Hole. It's a strange little island. It's completely shaped like a donut with a bite out of it that lets you get into the middle. And there are tons of roosting frigate birds there. And they fly over. It's amazing. You have to see it to believe it. And it was so much fun to be back there because we haven't been in there in probably 25 years at least. So it was really, really neat to see that again. And it even prompted us that we're going to tow the boat down there and put the boat in down there so we can do some of our old stomping grounds and some of our old fishing haunts. So it was really cool. I really enjoyed that a lot. The boys are they're well behaved. Whew. I don't know. You just don't see that as much as you used to. But here in the Keys, you do. The kids seem to be, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's being outdoors. Maybe it's fishing. Maybe it's boating. Maybe it's all those things kind of tied into one that just makes them different kids. I don't know. They're certainly not city dwellers. Both of them have taken up sailing with the Optimus fleet, which what we used to call the Optimus Pram fleet, that my brother and I learned to sail in Clearwater way back in the late 50s, early 60s. These boys just started here. Let's see, it's down in Tavernier. Yeah, it's a sailing school in Tavernier, and they now call them the Opties. They're running Opties. You can't have something like can't have a sissy thing like a pram, right? Yeah. So, and then you graduate to the 420s. The 420s are again a small boat. I don't know the exact length. It's not very. The 420 represents the 4-meter, I believe is what it's called. I should have it in my notes or somewhere. Oh, I do. I wrote it down. The 420 got its name from the length of the boat. It's 4.2 meters in length. That makes it 13 feet long, whereas a pram's 8. So a pram, Opti, sorry. What's cool about the graduation to the 420 is you suddenly have a 2-sail boat. Instead of just a sprint-rigged mainsail like the pram has, you now have a mainsail and a jib, Genoa or spinnaker, all miniaturized, but you learn how to sail a boat like that by yourself or with a crewmate. And the older boy, his name is Christian. Christian's like, yeah, I graduated. I'm like, man, it is so great. The kids are totally enthused about sailing, which got me excited. I love seeing guys and gals when they really get into that and learn how to sail, because, man, it's an important step. It really is. If you can learn to sail, you can drive anything on the water, and I firmly believe that. So, and man, do I miss sailing. I may have to rent a sailboat and just go sailing, just for the hell of it. It's been a long time, but I still know how to do it. I think it's like riding a bike. You really don't forget how to sail, ever. Let's see, what else happened in our lives? Oh, we had another garden party at Billy and Cindy's place. Billy and Cindy D's. It was great as usual. Love seeing Luke Summerglen. He is I'll just call him a local legend. He's hilariously funny. He plays the kind of the old codger kind of guy that can sing and play. He is remarkable on guitar and very good vocals, and sings all the old country classics. I mean, you go back through Alabama and Charlie Daniels and that kind of stuff. And it was really fun to see him unplugged, so to speak. So it was great. We really had a great time. Remember, you can listen live on YouTube or Facebook Live. The pre-show lineup starts at around 4 to 4:30. And then Billy plays solo from 4:30 to 5. The featured guest plays from 5:30 to 6:30, and then Billy will join in, and they play till about 7. And it's really great. I mean, it's generally every Tuesday. You can get the schedule when you go on the web. Just look up Garden Party and it'll pop up. Also, if you're going to watch it on YouTube, just do a search for Billy Davidson's Garden Party. We've been lucky. We've been quote like special guests. It's not really. We're just invited because we're neighbors, and it really makes it a lot of fun to sit there and listen to music in the evening and talk to your buddies and friends from the neighborhoods and kind of really just get into the spirit of Key Largo and how this all works up here. If you want a real taste of Keys music, just don't miss it. And remember, you can go on YouTube and pull it up. It's also available on Facebook. I find that the sound quality on YouTube is better. So just so you know. My new song, Key West Town, is now available on just about every music download listening service. Thanks for all the downloads of my song and the feedback. Billy Davidson did the production on that. Yes, I'm plugging him heavily because I enjoy his music. We went to see him at the Lorelei last night. I'll talk about that in a minute. But Billy Davidson, musical artist and producer, has thrown out the welcome mat to me once again. Yay! To go ahead and submit more songs on the new year. Really looking forward to this, and I hope he likes at least one of them. I'll throw him several, just see if we can get one drawn out of the hat. Let me explain. If he gets a good feeling about a song, you're on. If not, you're not. And that's okay. I really do like the constructive criticism and take all of his songwriting tips to heart. And it has become a new addiction. Just add that to fishing and everything else I do. But I'm really going to enjoy that. Last night we did Christmas Eve dinner at Ziggy's. Ziggy and Mad Dogs up in down in Alamorada. Boy, was that good. It's never bad. It's never bad. The only reservation we were able to get was at 4:45, but it doesn't matter. The place was full. I think they opened at 4 for Christmas Eve. They had specials. They had all kinds of stuff. I looked at the specials. I was very tempted, but I cannot not get a filet mignon in that place. And the waiter was funny because he said, "Yeah, I totally get it." And I said, "This is the best." And Janelle and I don't eat a lot of meat at home anymore. We eat mostly fish, chicken, some pork. Mostly white meat, if you want to call it that. But, it was nice just to have a beautifully cooked steak. Caesar salads that were out of this world. Janelle had her steak was smothered in asparagus. I'm trying to remember what else was on that thing. Oh, crab meat. She had it smothered in something. It was incredible. So it was all good. And then after we ate dinner, since it was early, we ran down to the Lorelei and listened to Billy play for a while. So that was a lot of fun. And everything closed up at around 7, I guess, 7:30. Everything was done. So we drove home. So that was our Christmas Eve. And that's the first time we've done anything like that in a long, long time. So it was really fun. Fishing report. Not for me. God. I told Janelle on Sunday morning that I was going to just go out, put the water intake ears on the lower unit of the motor and start it up. I really don't like to have a boat just sitting too long without revving it up. So I did. I went out, cleaned it up a little bit, started the motor, flushed some water through it. It's fine. It's just one of those things. It's just, I hate boats when they sit. I mean, geez, I really can't believe it. Lord, I'm hoping to get out between the rain and before the cold front arrives on Friday. So wish me luck. Tuesday, tomorrow, looks somewhat okay. From about maybe 9 or 10 in the morning on for a while through early Wednesday, and then all hell breaks loose again. So I'm going to, anyway. The biggest problem is the water looks like hell. We've driven over enough bridges now and seen the scene. You should see the Atlantic Ocean right now. It's milky. There's no other way to put it. The near shore reef areas that you normally see, the beautiful pristine waters you drive over the bridges, no, it's cloudy. It's been blowing and blowing and blowing to where it's really stirred things up. A lot of that's coming out of Florida Bay on the outbound tides. Florida Bay is primarily a fairly silty, sandy mud. I don't know exactly how to describe it in the back. And when that stuff gets stirred up, it turns the water cloudy. I mean, really cloudy. And apparently that's what's running out on outbound tides. So I'd love to give you a fishing report, but I didn't even see anything much reported by anybody that was worth a damn. So, I mean, there are a few things. Way out on the west coast of the Florida Bay, upper by Cape Sable, I saw a couple of reports about people getting into cobia up there. I was surprised to see that, but they did. And there was a picture of one guy holding a cobia up, which is pretty good. But all in all, anyway, we're all going crazy. Let's see what's next on my list. Oh, book time. Still working on Everglades by Randy Wayne White. Made some serious progress. I'm 3/4 of the way through the thing. I highly recommend it. Like I said on the last podcast, I've forgotten how good writer Randy is, and I'm really enjoying being virtually back on the southwest coast of Florida near Sanibel. I want to mention that it's not just his writing. It's his ability to describe Florida stuff so that the reader can not only visualize where you are, you can smell the swamp. I mean, I really, really like the way he puts things into almost like cliche-like stuff, so you can really, really identify what's going on. So anyway, I missed him. I'm going to have to read a couple more, so prepare yourselves. If anything else pops up in the meantime, though, I'll be testing it. All Things Must Pass. Okay. This time the title is twofold. It covers my feelings about the past year and my hopes and dreams for 2024. It is also it's very, very personal to me in a way that is hard to explain, but I will do my best. I found out a few weeks ago that the radio show I hosted for 11 years, Real Talk Radio, is going away at the end of 2023. I retired back in late 2019, and it's been hosted since then by Debbie Hansen. She's decided to also retire from the show. But unfortunately, there hasn't been a replacement host found. Yeah, I get it. The show is much more work than most folks are willing to take on. It seems simple on the surface until you're actually doing it, and then you realize that all of your time is consumed, your free time is consumed by working on the radio show. It's always in the back of your mind. You're always piddling with it. The 3 hours spent on the radio on Saturday mornings takes a lot of pre-work to get all the ducks in a row. It just does. You find yourself making notes throughout the week. It also it never got in the way of my chartering because I did not want to charter on a Saturday. It was my perfect excuse for not doing it. However, in season, which would be January, February, March, when it was really crazy, I would leave the station at 10 and go pick up somebody at 11:30, 12 o'clock and do an afternoon trip. You can't say no to the money. I mean, that's when you make hay. But it wasn't something I wanted to do. So most of the time, Saturday was not. But then it started to get in the way of things I want to do on Saturday, family-wise, specifically with Jonelle. And get out and do things with other family members, my brother, mother, people that live over there on the West Coast. And it just always seemed to hit on that one Saturday. And I rarely, if ever, took a day off. So I understand Debbie's plight. You know, she's 4 years in, but she's got an awful lot of things on her plate. And she's doing a lot of stuff in the world of women fishing. And I understand that. I get that. So like I said, it seems simple on the surface, but it's really not. You got to schedule guests. Yikes. That can be trouble enough, just finding somebody to sit in the studio with you. It was always fun when you had one. It was even more fun when you could get two in there and start bantering across the table at each other over, on microphones. But anyway. But as for what Beatle George Harrison said, all things must pass. And I guess this is true for what was and has been a big part of the fishing community of Fort Myers and Lee County. Look at the bright side. George managed to put out a double album of songs that he'd written for the Beatles albums, but couldn't get past Lennon and McCartney over the years. Most of the time, they put theirs and they put like one George Harrison song in, when the reality was he was writing just as much as they were. So he titled this album called All Things Must Pass after the breakup. It was a double, and it was loaded with great songs, as most of us know now. I just want to always like to look at the positive side of this. So thanks to all the past fans of the radio show for sending me notes and asking me to do the show again. Nope, sorry. Just can't do it from long distance. It's just not possible. It's more personal than that. You need to be at the studio. And driving to Fort Myers every Friday night is definitely not in my future. However, I'm still going to carry on with this weekly podcast and fill it with as much info as I can about fishing and the like, if I ever get to fish again. I don't like to do hearsay fishing. I never have. Like on the radio show, I had people call in. I had captains call in from the water, call in with their reports to find out what's going on. I never really like to read something and go, okay, I'll just talk about that. And I don't know anything about the area, what happened. I can't do that. So I need to have more hands-on. I'm going to do that. It'll be based on the Keys where I live, but I'll also throw in a thing or two from my old stomping grounds if one of my buddies calls. If I get a call from one of the captains up there and they're telling me something spectacular has happened, that's fine. I'll put it in there. I think I'm also going to continue a segment that I created years ago by request called Useless Information. It's something I created when I was Real Talk's host, and listeners just would not let go of it. Yes, Debbie was forced to carry on with it. And sorry about that. Yeah, she's like, oh, Lord. So look for Useless Information to be added to the podcast next week. I figure it's mine. I own it. I am certainly going to carry on with it. What the hell? And I still have several of the Useless Information books. Long story short, many, many, many years ago, Jonelle gave me the book for Christmas, Useless Information. And I sat down and read about 5 pages and went, man, this would be great on the radio. What's better than just something totally useless? And it's really interesting. And it just took off. It was one of the, I added a lot of stuff to the weekly show, but that was the one thing that really, really stuck and carried right on for the next 4 years after I left. So I'm going to do it. What the hell? I got access to it. I still have the book. So, one other note, Byron Stout, for those of you that are in the Fort Myers area, I really want to mention this. He is retiring after 38 years, I think it is, 35 or 38 years of writing a fishing column for both the newspaper, which went defunct, and then he moved over to NBC News and did it for NBC on the weekends. I was a large part of that when I was in Fort Myers. And even after that, I still sent some stuff in from the Keys when requested about like lobster seas and stuff like that. And the NBC has decided not to carry it after the new year. They're not going to do fishing reports, which actually I sent Byron a note and said, oh, man, that's kind of a bummer. He goes, no, not really. He said, it's time for me to retire. He says, I have done this for so long. And so I understand that feeling. I mean, I totally get that. So he's cool with it, but he's going to do his last report. You'll be able to see it. It usually comes out, I think, on on Friday. It'll be Friday or Saturday. It's on the weekend. So the last one will be the end of the month if you want to catch that. Just another page. All things must pass. Goodbye, 2023. I'm personally hoping for a better 2024. It'd be nice to see things money-wise get better for everyone. Food, gas, many other expenses have gotten out of control. And for a lot of folks, not just us, not upper class, middle class, low class. It's bad. Yeah, well, prices are ridiculous. The only thing that came down a little bit recently was gas. It's still higher than it was years ago, but it's better than $4 a gallon. So for 2024, our future looks like this. When I say our, I'm talking about Janelle's and my future. Janelle's getting the bug to retire. I would really like that. I know she enjoys what she does, but we need more time together. Exploring, boating, fishing, and just hanging out in the islands. Her job right now is oppressive. It is constant. It is 24/7. She rarely gets to breathe in this job. We can be doing something on a Sunday and she'll get a call to get something posted up immediately, that kind of thing. It just, and it's wearing thin on me, and I believe it is on her too. She's been talking about retiring for a while, so maybe the time has finally come, and I'm pretty sure it's going to happen in 2024. I'm going to get this damn book finished this year. I really am. I don't think I said that last year. I'm not sure if I did or not. I'd have to go back and listen. Early this year, really. No, really, I am. It's in its final stages. I'm picking out the photographs and the illustrations for it and trying to get all the ducks in a row, get it all lined up so the book makes sense, and then it goes off to the publisher for more checking and more editing. So we got several months of this to go, and I'm hoping sometime in the spring we'll have this thing done. I'm going to continue writing songs. I'm having too much fun to stop. 2024 seems like a good time to write more songs. I've got a couple boogie woogie rock and rollers I'm working on. I've got a ballad or two. I'll be honest with you. All you got to do is go out in a boat and look around and you can write a song. Just ask Jimmy Buffett. I don't know if I can write as well as he does, but I got to admit, man, just being on the water and looking around, it doesn't take much to inspire you to put something on paper. And I will say this, from a writing standpoint, songwriting is a lot easier than writing a book. The only trick is the rhymes. And after a while, the rhymes start to make sense too. So it's all a timing kind of thing. But anyway, what the hell? I'm not getting any younger. And, I have found a thing that I like to do that I did back in the late 80s and 90s. I wrote songs. I wrote songs all the way back in high school, for that matter. That would have been 1970, 71, 72. So it's kind of fun to just get that out of my system and start doing it. So that's a 2024. Fishing. Yes, indeed. I'm going to continue fishing as much as I can. I'm going to do my best to step it up this year and, of course, continue exploring new places. There is a lot of water to cover around our home here in the Florida Keys, and I can't wait to share my adventures with you listeners. It's going to be one of those things where I was just looking. I've got foul weather gear that I bought before I quit guiding. You all know I got cancer. It was in 2015. That happened to be in February of 2015. I had just bought what I like to call the bodysuit. Yeah, like the like Bass Pro had these things. They call it the all-weather 100-mile-an-hour suit. You have a top and a bottom. They're bibs. And you put this on, you pretty much, it's like wearing a room. You're pretty much completely enclosed. Water does not get in these things. It's amazing, really. It can be pouring rain on you and you're dry, except for your feet, of course, and your hands, and maybe your forehead and face. But all in all, you stay reasonably dry. So I had just bought that. Well, I dug it out of the closet. And guess what? It has everything but the tags hanging on it. It looks brand new. And yes, it still fits. Miracle. But anyway, I'm like, okay, so maybe I should go fishing in the rain. To hell with it. Put my zoot suit on and just go out there and do fishing in the rain. But whatever it takes, I'm going to bump it up. I'm not going to, I've been a wimp. But see, the reason I'm a wimp is because when you're a guide, you can't be a wimp. You go on every single day that somebody wants to go, every single day that somebody's willing to go, no matter how crappy it is out. You can even tell them, this is going to be awful. Oh, no, man, we've been planning this for 4 months. We got to go. Okay, all right, fine. I need to get that attitude back. I need to get myself back on the water more to experiment, test new lures, fool around in the backcountry, and explore these new places because there is an absolute ton of water here to explore. So there you go. That's a 2024. I guess you could call these resolutions, but I hate to go that far. So anyway, it'll be a lot of fun. I'm planning on doing a whole lot more fishing. That is for sure. Listen, everyone have a wonderful new year, and please spend some time outside if you can. Put on your mittens and your hooded parka if it's needed, but get out there. Fresh air is good for you, even if it's cold. Thanks much for listening. Thanks to all the listeners who have supported my podcast over the past few years. If you enjoy listening, please tell a friend, leave a review. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. The Facebook page is Catch You Outdoors. The website is catchyoutdoors.com, where you can find all the previous podcasts and a schedule of what's coming up. Until next time, get outdoors and enjoy.